Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor. And now, live from San Antonio, Mike Taylor.
Yes. How you boys doing, man? Look at that. We're back again. It has already been, 23 hours since we last signed off with you boys. And that means that it is time to come on here and do that deal that we do. It is Taylor, it is Tuesday, and it is Ass Whip Tuesday as I emanate from K-Mike Studios. Connected and sounding tremendous with DJ LG back in KDLG Studios. Because in this wonderful world we live in, if you are lucky enough to be able to work remotely, as we are, you have gotten used to working at Sukasa. And here I am today live. I had errands to run today. Normally, I would rather be at DJ LG Studios, but I had errands to do today, stuff to do. I don't know how people get things done that have like 9-to-5 jobs, because I'm very spoiled. I admit that. For years and years, I've been doing this goofball job for a living, and with all the stuff that I have to do, like go pay this bill and send off that money order, or go grab this cashier's check, or make sure the cable company didn't cut that off, or there's something in the office that needs to be done, or I got 4 kids. I don't know how guys that work 9, 10, 11 hours work days get anything done. God bless you.
I got 4 kids to feed.
God bless you, because it's hard enough to get shit done when you work remotely as we do. I saw a thing yesterday where I don't know, I didn't mean to get into this, LG, right off the top, but I saw a thing yesterday where there's now small towns across the country, little shitty towns that are like going decrepit. People have moved, or they're kind of falling by the wayside, little small towns. They're now paying people to move there. I read this thing yesterday about this woman from, I want to say Atlanta. She was living in the whole Atlanta, and she got paid $15,000 cash by the city of Tulsa, Oklahoma, to move there. Crazy. And Tulsa's not a tiny little dot on the map. Tulsa's a decent-sized town. What is the population of Tulsa? 150,000, something like that. It's not like it's a blip on the map, but because Tulsa needs people to live there so bad because of the changing world we live in, the city gave her $15,000 and 1 year free Wi-Fi because she's able to work remotely. So she agreed to. She rented a house. She proved to the city she rented a home in Tulsa. They're going to give her free. They got the local cable company or internet provider to give her free Wi-Fi for a year, and gave her $15,000 in cash. The catch is she has to commit to living in Tulsa at least 2 years. I mean, would you do that? I think a lot of people would consider doing something like that. Anyway, it was very interesting. LG's always a flight risk. He loves San Antonio, but he's the kind of guy that he wants to live in different towns on occasion, and I worry that at some point we're going to lose him to something like this. I read this. I was thinking about you when I was reading this yesterday. Would you go live in like Lincoln, Ohio, a population of 2,500, right on the like an hour outside of Cleveland, if they gave you $5,000 and free Wi-Fi to do it for a year?
5,000?
Would you consider it? Yeah, 5,000 cash to live in Lincoln, Ohio for 1 year.
No. 5,000 a month?
No, 5,000 a year, dude. Not
5,000.
$5,000 1 year.
Fuck no.
In cash. Here you go. Here's that. $5K. Here's 1 year Wi-Fi. Come move to Lincoln, Ohio for 1 year.
No.
You can do that. It's crazy.
That's ridiculous.
It's amazing. I also read this thing the other day where you've got high-rise buildings now. It was this one. I think this was on yahoo.com. They were focusing on New York City, right? Now, but a lot of big cities are like this. It makes me think about what's going on downtown San Antonio, where in New York, you have so many of these massive buildings everywhere in Manhattan that are empty because no one returned to the office because we don't need to. The pandemic, one of the good things about it is we all had perspective like, what the fuck are we doing going to an office for 8 hours? We don't have to. And
Well,
so all
yeah.
these
So you
buildings
don't
were
have to
abandoned.
worry if I did do something like that because we could just do shows like this.
That's what
You're
I'm
fine.
saying. But
Yeah, yeah.
I know, but I never see you in the flesh. I don't
Mm.
like doing it this way, but I would understand if you like moved to California for 8 months because you were chasing some piece of ass or whatever, and you decided to take one of these incentive laden deals to go live there temporarily. All
That
these
makes
buildings
sense.
in New York are empty. So these people, like the landlords, have been like, well, we can't get any companies to rent these offices. To hell with it. We're just going to turn them into apartments. And so
California.
half those
Beautiful.
empty buildings in New York City are now becoming high-rise apartment complexes and it turns in and they thought ironically it turns back into those people's offices because they work from home. So that's my long way of saying welcome in here. It is Taylor presented by Texas Cheer Liquor, and it is Ass Whip Tuesday. And boy, is it ever Ass Whip Tuesday. So I have a lot today, and we'll go through it here over the next course of 45 minutes or so, or an hour, however long this thing lasts. We got Bastic Voyage Challenge coming up, too. I guess I'm getting older and older by the month. I just had a birthday, as you know, this weekend. I turned 49. In 1 year, I will be 50.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
Oh, geez, dude. I mean, that's there's nothing I can do about that. It's middle age, and that's it. I got to figure out a way to welcome in 50 gracefully and not panic and go run out and buy a Porsche or something stupid. Not that I can afford it right now. But I've got one more year in my 40s, and then I'm officially getting up there.
Yeah, happy belated birthday, by the way.
Thanks, Hums. But my point is that as I get older, I think I'm relating more and more to my grandparents and my parents I remember my grandmother being ass whipped by some of the terms that we would use, even in the early 90s and late 80s, like rad or gnarly. Gnarly is an old surfer term that I used to say when I was younger. I used rad a lot. Did you ever say rad? Anything like that?
Oh, yeah.
Stupid? Rad. So I was just thumbing through the papers today, getting ready for this show, and stumbled upon my ass whip. I've turned into my parents now because my ass whip today is the dumbing down of the language. But see, it's worse now because back when I was a kid and we said shit like rad and crap like that, it was just dumbass street lingo. But it never showed up in the Merriam-Webster dictionary. But because we have in this country, where we at today in society in this country, we've just accepted.
We're living in a society.
We have accepted mediocrity. It is part of the reason why I'm concerned for the country, for the future of this nation, because we've just accepted it. We can't get anybody to speak correctly. Fuck it. Let's just make Webster's just like let's just make rad an actual word. Sure. Let's just wear PJs to school. Oh yeah.
But I mean, isn't that just the natural evolution of language? Sure, it might be getting dumbed down a little bit, but it evolves and then you change it and then you add it to the everyday talk.
But rad never showed up in Merriam-Webster the way words are now.
Well, also now that you can update a dictionary instantly, it's become more of like a marketing bit for them because every year they'll announce, here's the list of words that are being added to the dictionary. Before, it cost money to print that shit, and like they would only print one every year. So
okay, but still,
now like every month they're like, oh, the new word is being added to the dictionary or a new meaning for an old word.
To hell with Merriam-Webster's marketing, it still should not be accepted as an official term. Slang should stay slang.
Fuck Merriam-Webster. It's all about the Urban Dictionary. That's where you learn the real meanings of things.
Well, it's funny you mentioned that because according to the Urban Dictionary, I just pulled it up as you were saying this. We're on the same page here. It says online language learning platform Preply released the 2023 survey of the most commonly used slang terms that parents of teenagers are most familiar with. Words like salty and extra. You know what extra means?
Yeah.
I got called basic by my 22-year-old the other day. What is that?
Okay. That just
Not
means
cool,
you're like
generic.
Yeah, lame.
So according to Urban Dictionary and this thing pre-ply, the most common slang words in the year 2023. I'm going to go through these and tell me what cool hit DJ LG.
Right.
Tell me if
Let's
you
see if
how
I've
how
heard
old are
them.
you? How old are you, dude? 40? 41?
Yeah.
All
There
right.
you go.
I'm a man. I'm 40.
And this isn't see in the 90s we used to use terms that we'd hear from like NWA and stuff like that, like using gangster words. These are suburban white kids using these dumbass words like basic. All right.
All right.
What the word sus, S-U-S, sus.
That's short for suspect. It's like that's kind of fishy, like that's sus. That's like
Technically, it's suspicious.
yeah.
Suspicious.
Yeah.
And that's the other thing. We've taken all these words and cut them in half. Sus. Puma used to do this all the time. It would piss me off. Sus means giving the impression that something is questionable or dishonest and suspicious.
There you go.
The word bet, B-E-T.
It's like
It means I agree. I agree.
like
Yeah, Taylor's getting old and cool. Bet, right? That's how I would use that term. All right?
Yeah, or like, you gonna meet me at the mall? Bet.
Bet instead of you bet or yes.
Yeah.
Everything's shortened. What about the word
yeah.
yeet? All right, how about yeet?
It means to
Like-
throw. It means to throw something.
Are you serious? How do you know this shit? You're old. You're too old to know these words.
I'm a
Yeet.
man. I'm 40.
To violently throw an object that you deem to be worthless, inferior, or just plain garbage.
Well, I didn't
Yeet.
know it was like that because you can yeet something valuable. It's not that they're adding a lot of adjective to the word. The word is just it's a verb. It means to throw
All
something.
right. What? All right. A couple of more. The word salty.
It just means you're bitter.
Upset over something a little bit.
Yeah.
That's an old. People have been saying salty for a
Yeah,
long
salty's not
time now.
new. No.
Yeah. Cap. C-A-P.
That one's a newer one that's been coming in, and I hear no cap a lot. I'm not too sure what exactly that one means.
Well,
It
what's
means
no
it's
cap
like-
mean?
It means there's no limit, maybe?
No, it means no lie.
No lie. Oh,
A cap is a lie.
I didn't know that. Yeah, I've heard no cap when people
All
are
right.
like excited about stuff.
Here's another one that I've been called by my kids, bougie.
Yeah.
But I
would
don't
say
think I'm
you're
bougie.
No, I wouldn't say you're bougie, but I would say you're extra. That's for sure. You're definitely not basic.
All right. So what the hell's extra?
You gotta,
Over the
you got an
top,
ego.
excessive,
Yeah.
Dramatic behavior.
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much.
And I tell my kids, I'm not effing bougie. I'm normal. Y'all, because now you people your age, you fucking wear pajamas to the office. When I first got the job at the Ticket in 2007, I jumped on Jim Bob's ass because he wore cargo shorts. Now these kids are wearing fucking pajamas all day long. Literal pajamas. Cotton
Hey,
pajamas.
I envy them.
Ridiculous. Ruben says cat
I'm not
means
wearing
bullshit.
pajamas today. Yeah.
Cat
yeah,
means
yeah.
bullshit. Well, yeah, it's a lie. Bullshit. That's not true.
What up, Ruben?
Sean Payton is washed
Tacos.
as a coach. That's a cap.
God. Yeah, I'm not going to use that one.
Yeah, that's bullshit. One that I learned in recent years because of Ric Flair's drip.
Oh yeah, it's gear and
Yeah.
clothing. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. I know what shook means. That's even
That's
old people
old.
are now using the word shook.
Yeah,
Shook
that's
up.
old. Yeah.
Shook up. Thrown
Shook
off.
Ones.
Yeah.
Shook Ones.
All
Great
right.
song by Mobb Deep.
Okay. What is one more? We'll get out of here. I'm so ass whipped by this. What does NPC mean?
NPC,
NPC.
the letter N as in November.
Yep. P is
It
in
means non-playable
Pizza.
character.
someone, regardless of their views, who doesn't think for themselves. NPC. Oh, I
It
mean,
literally
half
means-
the kids under 30 in this country are NPC.
No, that's a little. It literally means non-playable character because it's a reference to video games, like in Grand
my
Theft Audio. It's
Yeah.
a player. It's like an extra on a video game. You can't play them, and they're kind of dumb. They like walk into walls and stuff, and like they're just like not present. It's an NPC. So it's become an insult to call someone an NPC.
Oh, you're just a background dude that doesn't do shit.
Yeah.
You don't count. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're the rando
exactly.
you're the rando in the video game that gets run over by the criminal while he's running from the cops.
You're an NPC, or you're the guy you get your missions from that you go to because you can't play as that guy, but you can you can complete your missions there.
Some terms I'm happy to accept and use, but some contribute to the dumbing down of this nation, and I'm not going to do it.
The girl at the coffee shop over here at Brevity, she always says slay. She's like, oh, yeah. Oh, no, new car, slay. And I'm like, what?
Not that it slays. She just says slay. But it means the same thing.
But she'll say it like 10 times in the 5 minutes it takes to get my coffee. So it's just weird.
So, like, if I say, man, Wemby had a triple-double last night, you would go, slay.
Yeah.
Jesus.
Yeah.
God.
I'm still not
pisses
sure
me
what
off.
that one means.
These are being accepted as real terms, and they're not.
You had rad. I mean, we had words,
but
too.
I quit
It's
saying
the evolution of language.
Again, it didn't get published.
These kids aren't going to say some of these things when they're older.
I hope
they're going to be doing what you're doing. They're going to be doing
I hope so.
A podcast and an Apple Vision virtual headset saying that blah, blah, blah. What these kids these days, blah, blah.
Back in my day, we just
words.
busted.
It's a cyclical thing in life.
I hope so. I really do. It feels like it's more accepted, though, now. We accept that reality TV stars can be the president. We accept now that rock stars can be the mayor and shit like this.
I mean, because it happens.
It's accepted. It's gross.
We don't accept.
Anyway,
it happens. You have to accept fact.
Well, I'm not bougie. Maybe I'm a bit extra. I'm not bougie. I'm normal.
You
but
can be bougie in certain aspects.
On occasion. But I would say that the line of what constitutes being bougie or extra has changed because of the dumbing down of the others. I've always been normal now the last 10 years I've become bougie because I don't wear pajamas all day long. I decide to wear
No. See, like you're extra. Extra is you showing up to the barbecue in your homie's limo that he let y'all borrow, wearing some fur coat that Stephanie let you borrow. Correct. Now, being bougie would be renting your own Escalade or renting a helicopter and, flying in and showing up in like an Armani suit or something. That would be bougie. That's the difference between the two.
Fair enough.
But you're extra. You go the extra mile on some things.
I would. You know what? I would rather a video game turn into some of the lingo from video games become accepted than like hood rat gangster shit. Because I look down upon that. I like the tunes, but I don't like the message of the misogyny and the toxic masculinity and all that bullshit.
Well,
all right, Holmes. There's 49-year-old Taylor's take on kids today. What's your ass whip, Holmes, and why?
My ass whip is the ongoing battle right now between Tanga and DirecTV. Have you seen this?
No, I don't even know what Tanga is.
Good. Tanga is the parent company that owns your boy Jeff Garcia, Locked On Spurs, and Ken's Five.
Oh, Tanga owns
and they're and the CBS affiliate.
All right.
Obviously, we get into all these battles now between networks and streaming companies, and they're about to pull all CBS stuff off of DirecTV.
Whoa, and you have DirecTV.
Yeah, but it's not only that. Tanga is also like doing other stuff, like pulling stuff off streaming services, like just to get back at DirecTV and anything they own. Like it's ridiculous. Like what happened to streaming being this money saver? It's no longer. It's more expensive than cable was, and we get less stuff. We'll get less regular channels, I should say. They give you more content, but you get less of the networks and local sports and regional programming.
Right. They all want you to individually subscribe to all of them individually. Exactly. It adds up. It's
stupid. Now it's looking like back in the 90s, cable was a better deal almost.
Sure. Absolutely. We have YouTube TV, but if it weren't for that, I'd probably go back to cable if I didn't have YouTube. I like YouTube TV. I think I'll stay with YouTube TV for the foreseeable future.
But see, they don't have regional sports. They don't have Bally's. So you have to have the Bally's app. So there you go, an added expense.
If it weren't for Wemby, I wouldn't have. I only have Bally's because of Victor Wembanyama. That's it.
Yeah.
If he throws his hands up and decides to get the hell off that shitty franchise he's currently playing for, ooh, and leave here in 3 or 4 years, and I'll let my Bally's account go. I'm only on Bally's, not because of the Rangers or even the Spurs. It's because of Wemby. Yeah.
And and the NBA blacking out the stuff on their own stuff. I know it's like a contract to send more traffic to Bally's or whatever, but we should be allowed to use the NBA app as well to watch games.
I agree. This came up the other day when I decided to go get the effing Bally's app so I can watch the Spurs because of Wemby. I think why the NBA, it's all screwed up.
No,
so most of these battles get fixed though last minute. I think you're fine. You're not going to lose the Spurs.
Yeah, 2 days is when they said they're going to cut it off. So we'll see.
Yeah. All right, Holmes. All right, what's whipping everybody's ass and why? We got to get to Bagtastic Voyage Challenge, and we'll go through some of the other folks' ass whips today and some of the other topicals. And I got to pay off some kettle segments here. If I don't start doing them now, we're going to be doing it in March. But right now, let us stop down for the 2023 Mike Taylor Live Bagtastic Voyage Challenge of 2K23. Come along and ride on that Bagtastic. All right, let's see. Is it over? We have an official count in yesterday's matchup. It should be just about over right about now. 12 minutes left. Jeez. But we can call it. It's not going to sway in the next 12 minutes. Yesterday's matchup between the Memphis Grizzlies gun-toting superstar Ja Morant and the governor of the great state of Florida, who should never wear cowboy boots again. In that matchup, Ron DeSantis has a very comfortable, insurmountable lead. DeSantis has 62% of the votes to Ja's 38%. So I can call that, even though there's now 11 minutes to go. Ron DeSantis is going to advance, where he will take on the noted fighter and YouTube star Jake Paul next week. So Ron DeSantis has advanced. I'm going to call it. We just don't have the official count yet, but we will. We will. All right, so let's get into today's matchup. As I post it live on the show, let's see. Pull that up there. Skadoosh. Go there. Save. All right. Back out to X. That's an ass whip. Getting used to having to call it X.
Yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, Twitter. All right, today's Twitter poll. Today's Bagtastic Voyage matchup is the 3 versus the 14 matchup. I've lost track of how many basketball teams he's now shit on, but it is James Harden, who I believe has won at least 2 MVP awards in his career. I want to say 2. Bagtastic Voyage Challenge. Voyage Challenge, round 1. There it is, James Harden versus Sean Payton. I just loaded it. Sean Payton, the only reason why he's nominated because a lot of y'all thought he acted like an asshole earlier this year because he threw Paul Hackett under the bus, the offensive coordinator for the Jets, who didn't even make it through the entire season last year. He got Frank Reich. Paul Hackett got shit-canned in Denver last year when it became apparent he was a horrible decision. Left the Denver Broncos cupboard absolutely bare. Blows out of there. Sean Payton couldn't help from noticing what disarray Paul Hackett left the Broncos organization in. And he happened to say it with open mics. And he happened to say it to the wrong people, and it got out. And so he got made to look like a dick for a couple of weeks. The Jets used it as a rally cry to get revenge for Paul Hackett. And they go into Denver, and they actually beat the Broncos and played about as well as they possibly can play, which is not very good. But it took Sean 6 full weeks to get the Broncos where he needs to get them. And the Broncos have now won 5 games in a row. So scoreboard Broncos, F Paul Hackett. He does suck. Sean Payton's 10 times the coach he is. And he's gotten things turned around in Denver, but yet y'all have nominated him anyway. And he's up against James Harden. This is a no-brainer. We'll see. I don't vote. But it's a no-brainer. Jimmy Harden is far more of a D-bag than Sean Payton. I'm disappointed in Thunderdome Freeman nominating my guy. And yeah, I'm biased. I like Sean Payton, but he ain't a douche. Kind of a dolphin. Probably a little extra. He might be a skosh bussy. but he's no D-bag. Harden's a douche. So there's your matchup today. Vote, vote, vote. Do all you can to make a difference in 2K23 as we get through the first round here of the 2023 Bagtastic Voyage Challenge Championship. All right. It is also Red Kettle season. Please donate to the Red Kettle. I have gotten together, me and LG have, with our other colleagues on 3 Cents Podcast, Ernie Zuniga and Cleto Rodriguez.
Which is coming down at 1:30.
What's that?
Which is coming down at 1:30 today.
It is. Yes, indeed. Yeah, we have another episode today at 1:30. Normally they're at 1, but I've got stuff to do I don't know how people get things done.
Of course you do, yeah.
I've got extra things to do here in my bougie world. And I got to go take care of an errand, but we'll get rolling around 1:30.
So
but
when I asked you yesterday, you're like, I have this meeting at this time on Tuesday. And I was like, before our podcast or after our podcast? Was that when you realized you double booked?
Yeah, I double booked.
At that moment, because it looked like that was when you were like, oh, shit, I double booked.
Yeah, I double booked, but I can't get out of this first book. So the book's going to have to wait half an hour. But you can donate to the Red Kettle anytime you want. I put links out once a day. I'll put a link out here in a little bit when we get off the air. Donate to the 3 Cents Podcast Red Kettle benefiting the Salvation Army. You can donate $1 if you want to. You can donate $1,000. But if you donate $40, I'll do whatever topic you want me to do. There's no limit on topics. You want me to I'll do 4 topics. That's $160. Put $160 into the kettle. Send me a screenshot that proves you paid and give me 4 topics. A lot of y'all have done it over the last couple of days, and I appreciate it. We're only up to $240 though, and normally we're slow starters on this bit. But once
a bucket, cheap bastard.
Once we get right around December the 1st, that's when Thunderdome normally kicks into gear and takes our Red Kettle into the stratosphere. And also, I'm going to start doing some of these payoffs here in order to, because I promised you I would, but also hopefully it'll motivate others to donate their money. Every $40, I'll do whatever topic you want. All right, it could be anything. It could be Colombian hippopotamuses. It can be LG's hat game. It can be Wimbenyama.
They're killing all those hippos, by the way. They're going bye-bye.
Well, glad you mentioned that because I wanted to do a segment on that because I've been enthralled by that story for 20 years. The hippopotamus.
Gotcha.
Yeah. All right. So here's one today, and I'm going in the order I get these. This is Thunderdomer Will up in Central Texas. Will now lives in the Temple Killeen area. I would like to know what your top 5 live albums are from bands. Okay. That's an easy topic. That's fine. Bring back that production value, LG. This is good for this. All right, so there it is. All right, live albums. Do you listen to live albums? You probably do on occasion, don't you?
Yeah. I like live albums.
Yeah.
I've got a few, yeah.
What's unfortunate is when some of the bands that you love and you go listen to them live and they're dog shit. That's what's unfortunate. Yeah, and I've said this for years. I'll hear a band I dig or a tune I dig or a singer, and I'll like them, but if I hear them and they're horrible live, that hurts my fandom. But if I already like a band and I hear them live and they're even better live, boy, then I put them up on that upper echelon. But my 5 favorite live albums ever, geez, Will. All right, I can do this. I made some quick notes here a few seconds ago while LG was ranting about his TV sitch. All right, and I might forget one, but this is off the top of my head. I think this is in stone. I feel good about. I don't know about the order of these, but these 5 records are records that influenced young Taylor. Let's put it that way. There's probably been live records that I like just as much, if not better. These are the ones that influenced me as a kid. Number 5. I'm 49. I'm a Gen Xer, and I was raised by teenaged hippie parents. And my parents, of course, were heavily into the Jimi Hendrix Experience. And so as a younger man, I wanted to delve into Hendrix because my mother loved Hendrix. Who doesn't love Jimi Hendrix? But I think one of the early rock influences in young Taylor's life, growing up in the late 70s and early 80s, and what really helped this was when YouTube came out and started putting concerts on YouTube. For those of you who dig Jimi Hendrix, if you've never heard Hendrix live in Stockholm, Sweden, 1969, it's on YouTube, the whole concert. You can probably, it may be on Spotify, I'm not sure, but you can certainly watch it on YouTube. Hendrix played in Stockholm, Sweden in the fall of 69. This was the apex of the experience, the height of his drug abuse, and it led to him just annihilating in concerts. He's so effing good. Hendrix and Mitch Mitchell and the bass guitarist whose name escapes me, it was 3 dudes. That was it. That was the whole experience. Hendrix live in Stockholm, 1969. I didn't pick that because of the year 69. That's legit. I'm not being extra. I'm not being dramatic, all right? Number 4. 1971, Neil Young live at Massey Hall in Toronto. I don't know that LG likes Neil Young, but again, I was raised by hippie baby boomers in the 70s, and my mother loved frickin' Neil Young, man.
I once went to a Halloween party and they had a Neil Young impersonator performing. It was amazing. No, but he looked nothing like Neil Young, which was weird.
Did he sound like Neil?
Not really. He just sang the songs. I was just like, what the hell? But anyway, sorry.
Yeah,
no, I'm not a big fan. No.
No, well, I think some people either love the dude or think it's a giant ass whip.
They just play that one song over and over and over at the bars.
See, I can give you 50 Neil Young songs because of my mom.
Well, yeah. Well, they just play that Sweet Caroline crap.
So that's not Neil Young, sir. That's Neil Diamond.
Oh, okay. No, I'm confused. God. I don't even know who Neil Young is then. Who the hell is Neil Young?
Oh man, look at my life.
I got
24 and there's so much more.
So it was a Neil Diamond impersonator, not Neil Young.
It makes me think of you. You ever heard Needle and the Damage Done about using heroin?
No. I've heard the name. No.
All right, I'm going to blow through a bunch of Neil Young songs just to get you up to speed here, but we can't play any music. This is
I'll look him up. I'll listen to some.
All right, I'm just going to sing a few. Let's see. And the Massey Hall concert that I'm referencing here in 71, it's when he debuted the song "Old Man," which was one of his all-time most popular songs because he bought a farm and he was living out there alone. The only person that lived on the farm was this old man who took care of all the cattle. He bought a cow farm in like Oregon or somewhere. You boomers know about Neil Young. Have you heard, I want to live with a cinnamon girl. I can be happy the rest of my life with my cinnamon girl. I sing that to Nina now all the time. She's my cinnamon girl, brown-skinned woman. Dude, you need to go blow through some Neil, Holmes. I love Neil Young. Good times. I can't. So you're familiar with the voice though, right? That high-ass pitched voice that a lot of people think's an ass.
I'll check back next show and we'll see if.
Oh man, look at my life.
I get it.
I'm a lot like you were. Anyway, that was fucking badass.
Who sings
Neil
that
Young
song?
live at Massey Hall. What's that?
Who sings that song?
Neil Young, dude.
Let's keep it that way.
He's known as the godfather of grunge.
What?
He is the godfather. He was one of the early. He influenced a lot of those early '90s grunge dudes because he didn't shower and wore flannel shirts every day and was kind of dirty and probably didn't wear any underwear. He was Puma. Neil Young was Puma. Now, all right, let's get to the others. We're running late. Number 3, this another one, Grandma Becky influence. God almighty, I've had an existential moment today. My mother's the biggest influence on my music. My crazy Grandma Becky. 1985 Queen Live Aid. Have you seen that with Freddie? When Freddie Mercury had found out that he had AIDS and he was sick, but nobody else knew except Freddie and his doctor and maybe his mom.
Yeah, he had the AIDS big time. No,
Freddie
I
went from the
never
hospital
saw
bed
the
to
Live
Live
Aid
Aid.
stuff until I watched the movie.
Have you seen the actual performance
Yes,
though,
I
and
have.
not Rami Malek's
because
version?
I watched like a behind the scenes documentary, and they
We
compared
watched
the
that shit
movie
live. We spent 2 days watching Live Aid, me and my mama, in the mid '80s. Queen, Phil Collins, no Jack, Led Zeppelin got back together for that one day. It was pretty badass. U2, but Queen live in London in Hyde Park for Live Aid '85. Badass. And the other thing, and fast forward to now, my 22-year-old loves Queen. And so when the movie came out that you referenced, I went and saw it with my 22-year-old, and we had a bonding moment. So I love that. That's why that's on my top 5. All right, let's get on to the other. Number 2, 1970, Led Zeppelin live at Royal Albert Hall. This is why I like bands that don't need a whole lot of bullshit. Like there's no pyrotechnics, no neon lights, no one's coming out of the floor, nothing like that. What I loved about Zeppelin, other than they were probably the greatest rock band of the 70s, I don't want to argue with that anybody, but they probably were. They would just walk out. They didn't need any fanfare, no bullshit. They would walk out. John Bonham would sit down and he'd establish the drum kit. Robert would walk over to the mic, take a drag of a cigarette, and just go, "Good evening," and they'd just start. Boom. They no bullshit. They just played their set and left. And Robert never wore any underwear, so he just had this giant ass, this dick and balls off to the side for all the kids to see with his extra small jeans. All right, then the number 1 is probably Pearl Jam, 1991, live at Amsterdam at Pink Pop, the Pink Pop Music Festival that pretty much put them on the mainstream map. Have you seen still frames of like Ed stage diving from like 30 feet off into the crowd and shit like that? Those iconic pictures of Eddie Vedder diving. That was in Amsterdam at Pink Pop, 1991. So there it is. There's my 5 albums. Pearl Jam in Amsterdam, Jimi Hendrix.
Of course,
in
it's a Pearl Jam album.
Well, of course it is. Well, that's the biggest influential band of my youth.
Yeah, okay.
Pearl Jam in Amsterdam, Zeppelin in Sweden, Hendrix in Sweden, Zeppelin in London, Neil Young in Toronto. Hell yeah.
Nice.
That's it. And then Queen in London. What's up? Bunch of foreign bands in Europe. What's up? Hell yeah. Billy's in here. Keep on rocking in the free world. You probably heard that. You just don't know.
You probably have. How old was, what year was Neil Young popular? Like 89, 90?
No, dude. 68, 69, 70, 71, 72.
Jesus Christ. That's why I don't know. Because I wasn't even thought.
Neil was solo, but he also had a side band, Crosby, Stills, Nash. They would bring him.
I know that band.
Neil in.
See? Okay. Yeah.
Neil would play with Crosby, Stills, and Nash. And they were Crosby, Stills, Nash, and Young.
And then Neil he went solo?
Well, he was kind of back and forth.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
He was kind of like me. One week I'm on 3 cents. One day I'm on this show.
Yeah. You're spreading yourself everywhere.
Just compared myself to Neil Young. Yes, indeed. Navarro. I remember Pearl Jam and Neil Young MTV Music Awards a while back. My dad and I liked it. It was a good live show. Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Jack Daniels. What about John Denver? He's just saying that because John Denver went to my went to my high school. Yeah, I also went to Arlington Heights. So there it is. That was way too long of a bet payoff, but Will's a good dude. And
it's a good topic though.
I don't
think I could name my favorite at all. So
there's no Wu-Tang Clan concert.
Wu-Tang
in
sucks. F that. They're terrible.
Wait, you saw them later on though when they were all old and fat.
No,
you didn't
but
see
still,
them back in the day.
They're not. Who wants to see 9 dudes holding microphones rapping with?
Well,
the
not
DJ?
me.
Not me.
Tribe Called Quest. Are they not good live?
I've seen them live. Well, yeah, I've seen them live. They're good. They're performers though. And that's just 2 dudes rapping, or 3 dudes sometimes. But it's mostly 2 dudes, and their DJ's amazing.
Right. Most rap live is awful.
You gotta have a band. You gotta have a band.
Gotta have a band. Gotta have a band.
Or some really, really talented DJs. Really talented ones. Like Jay Funk.
All right.
I'd say Nirvana, the Unplugged live is probably my top. The Unplugged in New York.
Yeah. MTV.
That one. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Any major band in those days played Unplugged.
Yeah. Here's a good trivia question for you. Who was the first ever Unplugged MTV Unplugged performance?
Great question. I don't know the answer. Do you know the year?
I don't know the year, but I know the answer.
I'm going to take a stab. REM.
No.
Okay. Must have been a rap band since you're the one that mentioned this, and you know the answer.
It was a rap band.
Was it? I'm going to roll with Run DMC.
No.
All right, give it to me.
LL Cool J.
Oh, geez, what a disappointment.
Yeah.
I always thought he was overrated as Fizz-Up.
Yeah.
All right.
He's doing the NBA intros now. Do you see that? They brought back the Mama Said Knock You Out. He's got Roots playing behind him.
He still lick his lips every 2 seconds?
Oh, I'm sure.
He always used to lick his lips, and it would drive me nuts, like a lizard. It was gross. He was like the Joker, and he was like Heath Ledger's Joker. Licking the lips. It was stupid. All right, man. So this is an example of what we'll do. I'll do any topic you want for $40. So that's Will in Central Texas in the Temple area. So there's that. All right. Show brought to you in part by Texas Cheer Liquor, the official liquor store of this show, and they got a good bit coming up on Saturday, which I wish I could go to. Maybe I can find a way to get over there for a couple of hours. All right, so Texas Cheer Liquor, the official liquor store of Taylor. They have 9 locations, but they have a really good bit coming down this Saturday. Here's an opportunity to go buy booze for Christmas. A lot of you boys scramble around the holidays. You mail it in, you wait till it's too late, you wait till you're having a scramble, you're running up and down malls. Make it easy and just buy, especially the dudes in your life. Buy your dad some booze. It's easy. Find one of the 9 locations in town. On Saturday, here's a good bit. At store number 8, 410 and Military, which is in between Cheddar's and Academy Sports, right there at 410 and Military, they're having a grand reopening on Saturday from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. You ain't doing nothing Saturday between 1 and 4. Go buy some booze and give it to your brother or your daddy or your whatever. They're going to have a party there from 1 to 4 at the Texas Cheer Liquor at Military and 410. Free food, door prizes for free. They're going to have a DJ. Mr. Singh's hiring a DJ to play out there. And all kinds of food tastings, all kinds of booze tastings. So get your ass out there and try some booze, and a bunch of raffle prizes, including one of the top raffle prizes, which will be a Traeger grill. That is this Saturday, 1 to 4 at Texas Cheer Liquor on 410 and Military. Go out there and buy some booze and give it away as a stocking stuffer or give it to somebody as a gift. I love getting booze as a gift. It's a good bit. So that's Texas Cheer Liquor, the official liquor store of Mike Taylor Live. All right. What else today? So a lot of y'all responded to the commentary that I dropped yesterday, right around 4 o'clock. I do these a few days a week. I do them because there's some things I don't get a chance to get to all the way on this show, or I get a wild hair and something I forgot about, or I just want to, and a lot of y'all like them. And had a lot of response yesterday to my Greg Popovich commentary, basically calling him a hypocrite. I know that's a harsh word. I don't think he's a hypocrite. I think it's hypocritical of him to be so stubborn in the face of 99% of the population who think that he made a big mistake the other night, calling us out, calling fans out for booing Kawhi Leonard, and saying that's not who we are. So I was mentioning the baseline bums yesterday. I mentioned the bums in my commentary. They used to be as bad as I made a line. It was a line yesterday in my commentary that in the 70s and 80s, the baseline bums were as bad as any of those dickweeds up in Philadelphia are now. And so I went and looked at some of the history of this. As soon as the Spurs became the Spurs and moved to San Antonio, that's when the bums took off in the 70s, almost from day one. There was an instance where they pelted Larry Brown, who was the coach of the Denver Nuggets then, before he was the coach of the Spurs. They pelted Larry Brown, of all people, with avocados. The bums did. And a bunch of them got thrown out of the old Hemisphere Arena for hitting Larry Brown in the head with an avocado. All right? Now, I'm not saying we should do that now, But Pop's saying that's not who we are. It's not true at all. A couple of bums once scuffled with Larry Bird after a game in the arena, got in Bird's face when the Celtics came to town in the 80s. Larry, they're in that one. Can you imagine how big this would be? And had this were to happen now in today's news cycle with social media, a couple of bums got up in Larry Bird's face. Bird was in the hall somewhere, and he had his duffel bag with him. And he swung his duffel bag and hit one of the bums with his duffel bag full of his shit. Can you imagine if that were to happen today? Bird would get suspended for 6 months. One time the bums heckled, that was their bit. They always would heckle the best player on the other team, try to get in his head. It was strategy. They heckled Kareem Abdul-Jabbar over him having a fire in his house. So Kareem's house caught fire in L.A. The Lakers came to town, and a bunch of the bums were giving him shit about his house catching fire. And the LA Times asked Kareem Abdul-Jabbar about this after the game, and Kareem said, quote, "The fans in San Antonio are loud, doggedly persistent, and in times utterly tasteless." That's what they were saying about the bums in San Antonio in 1980 or whatever the hell this was. Dude. And it's not, okay, maybe it's not who the bums are now. And I'm not condoning accosting ball players. You shouldn't do it. For God's sake, you throw an avocado at somebody, your ass ought to be thrown in jail, brought up on charges, and banned from the NBA forever if you're a fan. But to boo a guy who shit all over your city, Pop was wrong. He was wrong. And for him not to try to make some peace and triple down on what he did the other night, I think stubborn. I think it's hypocritical because he always asks everybody else to be held accountable, to have self-accountability. And I think in this instance, it would be cool if Pop would do that and say, hey, man, maybe I shouldn't have taken the mic during the game. Say something after the game. Don't stop the game down for that. I thought that was wrong. All right. Texas ball coach 40's in here. The whole Jeff Traylor business is an ass whip. You thinking he should go to Houston? I don't think he should. Speaking as a much lower level coach, this is from Texas ball coach 40. I don't know where he coaches. I would rather live in San Antonio than the 3rd Ward. That's a shot at the Cougs. For those of you worried about Traylor going to Houston. Plus, you don't need to deal with Tillman Fertitta and his types at UTSA. Keep winning here if you think you can, and a better job will be available soon. As in, Arkansas next year, says Texas ball coach. Is Arkansas a better job than Houston? I guess. It depends on the fit. It depends on Traylor. It's what Jeff Traylor thinks. And Traylor's an East Texan. He grew up in Gilmer, not far from the University of Arkansas, right there at the Texas border. I do think Houston's a hell of a lot better job than UTSA. He mentioned Tillman Fertitta, and Tillman is an ass whip, but Tillman will do whatever he wants. Kind of like he's the Phil Knight of Houston. If we only had a Tillman Fertitta at UTSA, we wouldn't be worried about losing Jeff Traylor. Status quo at UTSA as they scramble to come up with $2 million to keep Jeff by, I don't know, paying assistants or something. Or go get all of the resources you ever wanted, but you have to put up with Tillman. I think Jeff may choose to put up with Tillman. I don't know for a fact. I don't know the answer to that. I don't know. I just don't know. But I wouldn't blame Traylor at all for going to Houston. It is a better gig. By the way, speaking of football coaches, so we now have some of the incentives on Mike Elko's deal at A&M. The Aggies don't ever want to get burned with a ridiculous Jimbo Fisher-like contract again. They're going to pay Elko $7 million, but he also has a shit ton of incentives too. Rather than guaranteed money, he has some incentives. I wonder how many of these he'll even see. So, and some of this came out last night. So Elko's base salary at A&M is $7 million a year. Here are the incentives, including $1 million for a college football playoff appearance, which that should be realistic as they expand the bracket next year. The Aggies can get into the top 12, right? I think they can. $1.5 million for advancing to the college football quarterfinals or winning the SEC. You don't know about that. $2 million for a college football semifinal appearance. Don't know about that. $2.5 million for a college football title game. $3.5 million if he wins the Natty. The contract includes an $11 million salary pool for assistants and support staff. That's what Traylor wants at UTSA. The Aggies are upping. They're going to give $11 million just to the assistants, which allows Elko to go out and give crazy money to his OCs and his DCs and his secondary people and whoever, his strength and conditioning coaches. That's what Jeff wants, I think. What's going to keep Traylor at UTSA is the assistants need to get paid. They don't have any money for them. Jeff, this is an under-mentioned thing. Not only is Traylor winning at UTSA consistently, but he's doing it while losing his best assistants every effing year. Every few years, okay, cool, the OC will get a head coaching job or the DC will get a head coaching job. Jeff's having to replace his offensive coordinator every effing year. And you cannot sustain that way. It is a giant pain in the ass. And at some point, it's going to implode, and he's not going to be able to win the way he needs to win. All right, what else today? A lot of y'all have ass whips in here. I appreciate it. Keep them coming. Soul Man 1978, Popovich and his ego thinking he knows everything about everything and is always right. That's the other thing I don't think, that's what does not sit well with a lot of Spurs fans. Pop sometimes has self-deprecation. Like we remember the piece that you freaked out on and cut in half the other day? You panicked and stopped playing it, the piece that Tom Rinaldi did on Pop's Air Force Academy days.
Yeah, because the NFL dinged us for that. And we also got dinged yesterday for running Pop addressing the crowd.
We did?
By the NBA, yes.
Why?
Because we played Pop addressing the crowd.
And the NBA did not like it?
Well, it's their property.
The whole free world played it.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
You know what? You mean the AI computer that monitors fledgling podcast found it and the NBA got pissed, I guess.
Yeah, well,
how many times have the NBA got mad at us?
They have to make a decision, so they actually, they took the monetization away.
Fuck them. I don't care.
Yeah. For that
$2?
Little tiny segment, they caught it. Yeah.
Oh, whatever. It's $2 probably. Whatever.
But anyway.
We played it. No, the point being, Pop was self-deprecating in that piece with Tom Rinaldi that came out over Thanksgiving. It came out on Veterans Day. They did a piece on the NFL Countdown show of all shows on Pop and his days at the Air Force Academy, and Pop was like, I don't even know. I should not be. Like, Pop has some sort of, like, distinguished alumni, reputation on the wall of famous alums or whatever, or distinguished alums, and Pop was telling Tom, I shouldn't even be on that wall. The only reason I am is because of celebrity. That's it. I was a mediocre cadet. And that's great. He was self-deprecating with Rinaldi. But Pop's also just, they're just goofing off and whatever. But far too often, Pop comes off as a guy who thinks he has it all figured out when it comes to how we should live our lives, who we should vote for. And ironically, I agree with Pop a lot on a lot of his rants. Not all the time. A lot I have. But I guess Pop really does not think he was wrong the other night. Even when 99% of the populace thinks he was, including me, because he was wrong. I don't think there's any debate on it. He should not have handled that like that. I thought it was arrogant. And he should have been given a technical foul. I don't know why he did not. Sean's in here. The college football playoff system is an ass whip. It should have been 8 to 12 team tournament from the very beginning. You'll get your wish. They're going to change it next year. They're going to have to with the Pac-12 imploding. Brett, it's a lot of Pop, as you might imagine. Pop paying fans not to boo a player who didn't want to play here. Pop, you have bigger issues. Find a point guard. Okay, fair. Cesar, the Spurs were an ass whip for wasting Wemby's time. We're 16 games in, and we already have Wemby's being wasted time. Jim, anybody thinking that 8-year senior Bo Nix ought to win the Heisman over Jaden Daniels, the kid from LSU? We'll see. I don't think Bo Nix is going to win the Heisman. I'm not sure who's going to win the Heisman. Nix has had a great year. Should it matter how long you've been playing just because he's played for a lot of schools? He's kicked a lot of ass at Oregon. Although it's Washington who's undefeated, not Oregon. Michael Penix might have a case over those two dudes you just mentioned. What else? Ricky is in here. The iPhone updates right there with you. Okay, now I'm going to sound like an old man again. My fucking phone for about a month kept telling me it's time to update. And I kept hitting no. Then it was like, well, it's going to update overnight automatically. And I thought it was going to, but it didn't because I didn't have it charged in. So my phone was telling me this message where we were going to update. Basically, it said it was going to update, but because I didn't have it charging, the update was delayed. Well, finally, the other night, about a week ago, my phone updated regardless of me not ever charging it overnight.
So, yeah, just go in there and go to settings, general, software updates, automatic updates, off. And then you never have to worry about it again.
Wait, tell me that again?
Yeah, it's just user error on the user.
Well, it's always user error because it's me using it.
Yeah. So settings.
Okay.
General.
Got it.
Software update.
And
turn everything off on this screen.
Oh, look at that.
There you go.
iOS updates, security responses and system files, iOS updates. Should I turn them all off?
Where it says automatic updates? Yeah, I would turn them all off because then you're going to
iOS
freak out.
Updates?
Yes, turn that off.
What about security responses and system files?
That's all up to you, man. I would turn them all off because you're going to blame the iPhone for it updating because you had these settings on.
Do you have all of your shit off?
I have all of I do everything manually, yes.
Okay, off.
Yes.
Boom, there it is. Thanks, dude. Okay.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, cool. You messed up. I was going to go on a 5-minute rant. No, you fixed it for me, though. That's all right because we're out of time anyway. Navarro, Beastie Boys live were awesome. Oh yeah, I've seen a shit ton of live bands that were great. He was asking about live records, like albums that they sell, like commercials.
I had tickets to Beastie Boys and Rage Against the Machine at the Alamo Dome.
Wow.
I went to Foley's and waited in the furniture section to get to the Ticketmaster booth to buy the ticket. You remember when you had to do that?
I remember Foley's too.
Yep. Got the ticket. And then a week later, one of the Beastie Boys has a bicycle accident in New York and breaks his clavicle, and they cancel the concert.
Damn.
And then I think it was like a month later, like before the concert was supposed to start, it was already canceled, but Rage climbed up on the bass player climbed up on the speakers or whatever, and then the band broke up. So it was a doomed concert from the beginning.
Tammy, happy belated birthday, Mike. Thank you, Tammy. Mandalore link. Mike Taylor's an ass whip doing his best old man yelling at the clouds this morning. I have no problem with slang. Hell, I'm a redneck Mexican boy from the wrong side of the tracks. I say stupid shit all the time. I use goofball words. I just don't want it to be accepted as English. It needs to stay as slang. The Urban Dictionary is hilarious. I look at it all the time. It does not need to be in the official dictionary. We've become too much of a give up society where, well, these kids won't stop doing that. Let's just give up and accept it. No, let's make the kids, conform. It's bullshit. Rocky hardens of cancer, washed, and just shows glimpses of what he once was. Yeah, look what have the Clippers done other than beat the Spurs ass? Nothing. Get their ass kicked. They got their ass kicked last night by Denver. They didn't have Jokic or Jamal Murray. Of course, Jamal Murray is hurt. He's always hurt. But regardless, the Clippers can't even beat Denver without their top two players. The Clippers came in here, whooped the Spurs asses 2 nights, and thought, "Oh yeah, this is working out great. We're awesome." And they've had their ass kicked since they left town. Brad's in here. Can't you appeal? It's commentary. Doesn't that count as fair use? Can we not appeal?
You can, but then if they find it against you, I think it becomes a strike or some shit like that. It's not worth it for our 5 cents that we make off the ad revenue.
Yeah, we don't make enough. See, we make money on our advertisers, Texas Cheer, R&R, these kind of things. Yeah,
They don't make any money off of YouTube.
Yeah, I don't think that we are getting rich off YouTube. That's just a buck here and a buck there. That's hell. The
those ads that you have to hit skip while you're watching.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
those ads we probably make I'd say 1/30th of a penny.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
if you happen to watch the whole thing,
Yeah.
If you skip
Bobby
it,
on the north. Bobby on the north side. Deion Sanders getting a big dose of reality. It wasn't an ass whip. That was the first 6 weeks when he was a shit talking Deion. They've done nothing but lose for 2 months, and now he says, now we got to pay guys. Well, I think it was an adjustment for Deion. I still love Deion. I think Deion's going to do great in Colorado. I'm a huge fan. I like the swag. I do. But boy, he got his ass kicked 6 weeks in a row now. His son's career could be in jeopardy. The beating that he's taken at Colorado because they have the worst offensive line in Division I. Deion said yesterday that they're going to have to start paying guys. Not him, but NIL. He's now calling on Colorado people to up the NIL money. Deion's had a tough 6 weeks. He hadn't won a game in 2 months. And now he's had 3 major decommits this last week from two quarterbacks have now decommitted that were a 4- and 5-star respectively. A couple of other badass 4- and 5-star kids have decommitted. They committed during that hype train when they were kicking ass. Now all of a sudden they're seeing that things have struggled and Colorado's come back to reality a little bit. And he's had some decommits, Deion said yesterday it's that the alums need to do a better job of paying guys. Mark on the north side's in here. Tony Romo is a colossal ass whip. I'm an Eagles fan, and I couldn't even sit through that. I just turned it down and watched in silence. I should have pulled up the Eagles radio broadcast. Yeah, my buddy Marty from Philadelphia also texted me. He just wrote, Romo's a D-bag. That's it. That's all. Romo was talking about how sexy Jim Nantz was apparently the other night. I didn't watch the game. I didn't watch Eagles-Bills because Romo was calling the game, and I can't take Romo but about once a month. And I'd already put up with Romo doing the Thanksgiving game, and so I'd had my fill of Romo. He is ass at $17 million a year. We'll end on that. That is it. We're done. Tomorrow is People I Want to Punch Wednesday, presented by the Law Office of Orlando Kell. That's how we make money. We don't make money on YouTube. To hell with them. So you boys jump in here tomorrow with a punch. We'll overreact to the news cycle. 3 Cents Podcast today at 1:30. All right. Love y'all hard. Peace out.
Come back, you puppy!
Mike Taylor Live is presented by Texas Cheer Liquor.
This program was made possible by contributions from viewers and listeners like you. Thank you.
This is a cross-bound